Well, I'm back down here in Slocum. I went and got some equipment to see if we can get these bees figured out that we got into. They were stronger than I thought they would be. And if you watch the last video, you'll see kind of over my shoulder right there in that tree, there's a nice sized swarm. So I put out a swarm trap. It's right over there, and there's a bunch of bees checking it out. So before we actually get in these hives, I may show you what that looks like, and who knows what kind of show we may have. Okay, there's that swarm up in the tree. That was just too high for me to get earlier. I'm going to turn this thing around and show you what's going on at the swarm trap. It's right down here. I'm not sure if these bees are from that swarm. My guess is they probably are. But look at this. They are checking this thing out. If we catch that swarm, that would be really awesome if it happened while we were here this afternoon. But if we catch it, period, I'll be happy with that. This bee yard is very busy this afternoon. Bees flying everywhere. I knew they were going to be strong, but my goodness. This colony right here, this double deep, had some queen cells in it that we saw. I'm going to at least make 1 or 2 splits off of it. And then this one over here is the other one I looked in, this triple deep. Absolutely packed full of bees. Just brought plenty of equipment. I brought some frames, I brought some nukes, I brought some deep boxes, just to kind of figure out what to do with these bees. Don't really have a set plan. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do with them, but I'll kind of walk you through the process, at least on a couple of these colonies as we go through them. I've never really split this early that I can remember, but we got to get this hive split for sure. I know we saw a couple of queen cells in here. You got to make sure they have plenty of food stores, plenty of bees. I'm actually going to leave these split bees over here in this bee yard. So some of the foragers, of course, will fly back. Gonna put a lot of brood in the new split, probably 2 to 3 frames of brood. Make sure I get some nurse bees in there, and we'll see what happens. It's kind of an experiment for me, but I feel like, you know, they're gonna swarm otherwise. We'll probably lose them, so why not? Did a lot of these splits last year where I just left the bees in the same bee yard, and they seem to work out okay. We got a frame here pretty much of honey. Nectar, they're bringing nectar in from somewhere. Other side, not so much. Okay, they really haven't drawn that one out all the way. There is a fair amount of food on there though, so if I need that frame, I'll take it. Okay, right here we have a queen cell on the bottom, right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this frame. I'm gonna try and go ahead and put 2 queen cells in here. I think that'll give me a better chance of a healthy queen emerging. I'm going to just kind of briefly check for the queen. I do not see her. This frame does have food around the edges. It's got lots of brood, quite a few bees. I imagine some of those bees are nurse bees, which will be good. Okay, we got another queen cell right there. You can probably see that right there. Probably put that one there too. Lots of brood, lots of bees. And there's another queen cell on this side, 2 queen cells on this side. These, make sure I don't smash that one, are not quite as far along as that one is. So I'm going to put these in here. I think the first queen that emerges will probably take out the other queen cells, I hope anyway. Look at all that darn brood right there. And there's another queen cell. So I theoretically could go ahead and do another split off of this hive. I may just do that. I think I'm going to. Queen cell right here. There's some food on this frame, and the next frame over is just packed with brood. So these are going to be my 4 frames of brood from my 2 splits. Oh, we got some. Now we got drone cells on the bottom of that frame, but look at all that brood. Isn't that amazing? I have not seen a queen. Just want to set these things up to be as strong as possible. So I'm going to take those 2 frames out. Put them in here. I know we got a queen cell, plenty of brood. Want to make sure we leave plenty of eggs behind in case this hive has swarmed. In this particular frame, I know you can't see, but there are eggs, a lot of eggs. Another beautiful frame. So I'm going to leave this one behind here. I would like to get a frame with a little more food on in each of these, but I got to make sure this donor hive has plenty of food too. That's my concern. I don't want to take all the food out of it either. That's kind of what we're running into. We got large populations. The bees are eating a lot, so I might need to actually bring some food out here. I'm going to take this frame of brood, or I'm sorry, this frame of food right here, and put it in this one. I'll leave that one alone. This one has some food. I'm going to take this one, put it in here. I am going to shake some more bees. I believe these are nurse bees. I'm going to shake these in front of the hives, and that way the ones that go inside these nukes, we know are nurse bees. The ones that go back to the main colony, the mother colony, are foragers. Quick scan for the queen. Even if she's in one of these nukes, if we leave eggs behind, they can make a new queen, theoretically anyway. Done it lots of times. It seems to work good. This is when beekeeping becomes fun. When you start doing things like this, it also works the old brain, because you got to do some thinking. And my brain is a little bit puny sometimes, I think. I just want to go into this bottom box, make sure we got some food. I'm probably not gonna take any more resources unless we just have a ton of food. Nothing going on much there. Oh, there's a nice frame of food. Yeah, see, we've got eggs and brood all in this thing. I think it's gonna work out good. We're gonna find out. I'll put the brood all in the middle. This time of the year I like to do this. We'll fill it in with foundation. That's got a little drawn comb on it. It's okay. A little drawn comb on it. Actually, let me put that in there. The bees were bringing in a lot of pollen earlier, so something's blooming. Not sure how much nectar's coming in. There was some in the colony, so hopefully they'll have enough resources to continue to grow and do fine. Frame of drawn comb here, we'll put it in here. We'll put this right here. Keep the food close to the brood. We have several days of warm weather, 70s degree weather coming up, so I think they're going to have a good enough chance to get established, get those queen cells emerged, and hope to get the colony going before we have any more cold snaps. I'm sure people have different ways of doing it, and I'm sure you may have some different ideas of how I could have done it better. Everybody's got their own opinion, but we'll see how it goes. Now I'm going to take these two and put them in the empty slots on these other pallets. I was going through that hive over there. The bees were so loud I didn't hear this happen, but the swarm is going in the box. Look at this. It's gone from the tree. They're going in the box. How absolutely cool is that? That's what you call a quick success with a swarm trap. I knew it was very active and busy. Glad we got this joker hung up when we did. I hope they go on in there. All right, this one's a triple deep. I know from a little while ago there's packed full of bees. The third deep box right here, look at this. Looks like some food sources, some white wax. That thing is full of nectar. I'm gonna go through this hive pretty quick, see if I see any queen cells. If I do, I may do another split or two, or if I don't, I might use some of these resources to help strengthen and bolster some of the weaker hives out here. Might do a little equalizing, but we'll see. Another frame of nothing but food source. Now these bees are typically quite feisty. I don't know if you can tell on the video how feisty they are, but they are pretty agitated right now. Now there are those people that say, if you were just more gentle, the bees wouldn't be that way. Well, you can see how easy I'm trying to be with them, and they're still getting after me pretty good. They're not really actively attacking me. They're not super, I would say, aggressive or trying to sting me. They are very busy, very agitated here. Now look at all those bees right there. So this is the second box. How about that for strong bees, huh? I'm going to take a frame out of the middle. I'm going to be very easy. I know people say you shouldn't do that. This frame is not super packed out. This might have been the box I put on there to give them more space. Yeah, there's a little brood around the edges, but there's plenty of space for a queen to lay. Oh, look at all that brood. We got a lot of worker brood here. We got drone brood there. My goodness, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at the brood. Next frame looks the same way. I don't see any queen cells. I just hesitate to do a lot of splits without queen cells at this time of the year. Look at that. We got worker brood there, larva there, eggs up here. Look at that. I definitely could break this thing down, but I just don't want to do a true walk-away split and have them have to start at scratch building a queen right now. I'd rather find a queen cell that was already made if I was going to do that. It's kind of a tricky thing because you don't want to be making queen cells and swarming, but I don't really want to do a split unless I have queen cells available right now. This queen was originally a queen cell last year that I put in here, I think in March, from sleeping bear apiaries, and it started off as a little nuke. Look at all that drone brood right there. I'm okay with drone brood. Some people don't like drone brood. They think drones are bad, but to me drones are a sign of a healthy hive. So I like to see drone brood and drones. It's all just part of the natural process of bees doing their thing. So what I think I'm going to do actually on this colony, since I didn't see a queen cell, I'm going to pull a couple of these frames of brood out of here and maybe put a couple of frames of foundation in here and give them something to work on, and then use the brood to help strengthen some other colonies that are a little bit weaker. There are a few out here that are a little bit weaker. That's what I'm going to take. I'm going to shake the bees off. I know some people think that's bad, but it's not, in my opinion. There's another one. I've split this colony last year. Look at those bees trying to sting me right there. This isn't really the best time of the year for bees. They just seem to be a little agitated this time of the year too. I talked to my buddy a little while ago who said his bees are pretty nasty too, but what the heck. I'll take this one too. Boy, if I had a queen cell, I sure would split that joker. We'll move these to the middle. Actually, I think I'm going to put them all over on this side. Just kind of keep them all together. I'm going to put some new frames of foundation in this section right here. They're pretty fired up. I like my triple wax Pureco frames, plastic. They've worked well for me for the last couple of years, and that's pretty much what I use almost all the time. We're probably going to break this colony down, do a lot of splits in here. Probably get 3 or 4 splits out of this colony in about 3 weeks. We got some cells ordered, I think. So we're just going to kind of leave this one alone. I'm going to keep these frames of brood off to the side here to strengthen some other colonies or to put in some other splits we might be doing. You can tell it's getting dark out here. The day's pretty much done. The swarm had gone into that trap up on the tree, but a bunch of them were just hanging on the bottom of the swarm trap. I think there was too much swarm commander on the inside and the lid, and it kind of ran them out. Now the swarm commander draws them in, but if it's too strong, they'll run right back out. And so they were hanging on the bottom of the trap. So I kind of knocked the bees on the ground. I was looking for the queen. I think she might have actually been inside. There were some bees inside the trap on the frames of brood that were in there. So I kind of went through and just kind of tossed the bees on the ground and set the box down beside them, and they started climbing in. And then I went and kind of washed the lid off, and the bees, I went ahead and ran in. I'm gonna let them sit here for a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna just take this box and set it where I want them to be, and that way I don't have to move them later. So here's what we came up with. I ended up with doing 3 splits out here. I took 2 out of this one, as you saw. With the frames of brood I pulled out of this triple deep, I made another split with some queen cells that I found in this colony right here. I believe this might have been the colony that has swarmed. The population wasn't huge, although there were a lot of bees in there. And I found a few queen cells. So I left a queen cell in there for sure, and I put a couple queen cells in the green nuke over there and made a split. So the consensus on these colonies is that most of them are quite strong. The problem is the food is low on these colonies. They don't all have a lot of food, and so I'm going to probably have to get out here and feed them next weekend. Now I did put a swarm trap here. I had to consolidate this colony right here. There's only about 3 frames of bees and not a lot of food, and there was some mouse damage in the hive, so I just consolidated those down into a nuke. And the box that they were in I put over here with a couple frames of drawn comb. And so here's a swarm trap right here with a little swarm commander. We'll see. Just to have it here in case it may catch a swarm if somebody else decides they want to swarm. This is where I decided to put the swarm in the swarm trap. I'm just letting them do their thing. I'm almost certain the queen is inside because almost all the bees are off the ground down there. And the bees continue to go in, and I think we've got them. Hey, that's successful. That was kind of fun. Whew, what an adventure. I planned on just coming down here, checking on swarms and maybe hanging a swarm trap. I ended up spending most of the day down here going through these bees and doing a few splits. It was quite the adventure today. I appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. Hopefully you learned a little bit about what it's like to be a sideliner beekeeper. I mean, I had no idea this was going to happen today, and I hope I'd made the right decisions and right choices. But that's how beekeeping is. You kind of live and learn as you go. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care and be safe.